Hey, it's Aaron. Today I want to talk about the 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz. So this is Hyundai's compact pickup truck or small pickup truck. It is one of my favorites, maybe even my total favorite pickup truck in this category. It's hard to say, there's only two of them. But it was introduced in 2022. This year it gets a couple of changes. You'll see some styling changes in the photos here. The front grille and headlights. You get a little more off-road in the XRT trim now. They learned some things from participating in the Rebel Rally and other things with this truck, so they've updated some of that. And a larger touchscreen on the inside for the infotainment, and a couple of changes to the dashboard to match that. So really nice little truck. These have a starting price of about $30,000, and most people buying them are buying them somewhere in the 35 to 40 range, depending on some of your options. So the Santa Cruz has 4 different trim levels. You start out with the SE, then there's the SEL, the XRT, and the Limited. I would recommend looking at the SEL with some options, or the RT, depending on what you want for looks. So the XRT has a little more rugged look, slightly beefier tires, a little more gap between the tire and the wheel well and things like that. It just looks a little more rugged. It has the same all-wheel drive system that's available across the board, but it does have better protection underneath for your off-roading. And the XRT comes with most of the options that are on the trim level before it. So if you're looking at the SEL and you are adding up the options that you want to put on it to make it a little more livable, then you probably should be cross-shopping with the XRT model, because it will have all of those kind of included with it, and potentially at a lower price. Plus, those all-terrain tires look really cool. The downside is the all-terrain tires are going to affect your fuel economy. You can expect to see about maybe 1 mpg less overall, and also expect it to be slightly louder to drive just because they are AT tires instead of straight road tires. So take that into consideration if it matters to you. But with the XRT, you also get the slightly better approach angle. They changed the under part of the bumper, so the air dam and other things are a little bit different, so you have a little better approach angle. But for the most part, either one of those is a really great option. And again, you're going to be spending somewhere in the 35 to 40 range to get into those. The XRT starts at $41,700. The SEL starts at about $35,000. It's $34,900. So either one of those is probably what you're going to be looking at when you're looking at this truck. I can't justify spending too much more than $40,000 for a vehicle like this. You can get into the Limited for about $44,500-ish, but really that starts to feel like you're stretching on your budget, and maybe you should have looked at a slightly larger vehicle like the Honda Ridgeline, which is an excellent little truck that is more capable than anything in this smaller class of truck. But overall, there are a lot of great things about the Santa Cruz. The looks are one thing. It's a really good looking little truck. It doesn't look like every other pickup truck. It kind of has that I don't know, the Subaru Baja kind of vibe going with it. And then its name, of course, evokes that. It drives like a crossover. So it drives like a small vehicle. It doesn't drive like a pickup truck. It has a little better towing than the Ford Maverick, but not as much cargo in terms of how much it can carry, not the cargo size. People talk about, there's this much difference, but honestly, in practical terms, there's not a whole ton of difference between the two in terms of how much stuff will fit in the back. That extra inch or whatever you get out of the Ford is not going to make that big of a difference. I think the biggest appeal to this is that it is not a truck. So it doesn't look like a truck is what I mean. When you're driving it around and people are looking at it, they're not looking at just another pickup truck. It looks different, and that's kind of its major appeal. What I would recommend is that if you are looking at one of these, don't get the lower engine, the base engine. The 2.5 is kind of sluggish for this, just doesn't have enough power really. You're going to feel like it's struggling all the time doing pretty much everything. I would recommend going to the turbo version of that, which honestly doesn't affect fuel economy that much. If you look at the numbers, it really doesn't change too much. And for that, you're getting 100 more horsepower. You're going from 181 to 281. And that makes a huge difference in how this vehicle feels. So definitely look at that. You don't get into that until the XRT trim, but I believe you can option it on the SEL trim. If you need to at the dealership, drive them both, especially do a freeway on-ramp or something like that, and just feel the difference, because the regular 2.5 just feels like it's not quite enough most of the time in this car. When you get into the turbo model, completely different story. So that's the only piece of advice I have for this, other than this is a great little truck. It fits in your garage. It does the weekend duties that you need it to. It tows enough that you can move your toys around and all that kind of stuff. It's a great little truck, and I just like the looks of it. So alright, so that's the 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.